the Overman Warrior Podcast.
Hi, Coach Hoffman here. So this is a kind of a nice story. Pretty neat story. So for years I've talked about, I always enjoy going to the Space Coast, Florida. It's one of my favorite places. I've had over the years a decent relationship with it. And every year with my kids, it's always been kind of a thing. We always would stop by the Dinosaur store, especially when they were growing up. So they have it's called the Dinosaur store, right close to Ron John's surf shop. Ron John's, everybody knows Ron John's at Cocoa Beach. Most popular surf shop in the world. And it's right there on Cocoa Beach, down from Cape Canaveral. And if you go from Ron John's, just inland a little bit, a block or two, they have what they call the Dinosaur store. And the family that runs that store, interact with them for years. They are really interesting people. I've always liked them, and they go all over the world. They're especially during the off season. If you consider the summer season kind of tourist time, when everybody goes to Disney and everybody goes down to the beach, and for the summer. It's a year-round enterprise, of course, but they travel around. They pick up fossils, amber samples, fossilized samples everywhere, and they sell them at the Dinosaur store. And they have some really good stuff. In fact, I have here. My daughter. This is an example. It's a Spinosaurus tooth that she got me from the Dinosaur store, and they sell a lot of this kind of stuff, and it's just stuff they pick up in digs out in the Dakotas and Montana, where they just pretty much every time that rains, new fossils fall out of the rocks, and they pick them up and they sell them at the Dinosaur store down there in Cocoa Beach. And it's one of those just really neat places. They've been very successful over the years, and selling things like this. And you can get like necklaces of dinosaur teeth and bones and jewelry of all kinds. Great stuff, decorations for the house, great and unique tables. They're just really cool. So we've gone there a lot, and my daughter bought me this a couple years ago just because she wanted to let me know I'm thinking about all our good times at the Dinosaur store. And And so it's still been a big part of our family. But I haven't been down there for a number of years, about a decade. We've been doing other things, and with the space program kind of being not really doing much until Trump has been back in office. There hasn't been much of a reason to go down there. So, but last time I was there, I was thinking it was 2013. And they, the guy who runs the family who runs the Dinosaur store was building. They have a 3-story building, and they used to be in a strip mall where they had one floor and they just sold all their stuff. And it was always good to go to that place. But then they built their own. They took their proceeds, and this is a dream of theirs. This is something they have a lot of passion for. And I think the story here is personal passion. You do things for a living. You have to make money. But how much passion do you have for that topic? And in this case, they took all the proceeds they made from the Dinosaur store, very lucrative business, especially after Jurassic Park came out, the movie. And people would go to Ron John's surf shop and get some beach wear, and then people would go over and get some trinket from the Dinosaur store, and that would be your souvenir from Florida. And it's always very lucrative business. So they took their proceeds and they built their own freestanding building right in that little heavily occupied tourist area. Again, great real estate, right along the coast, very close to Cocoa Beach, the Ron John Surf Shop. You could throw a football from the parking lot of the Dinosaur store and hit the side of the building of Ron John Surf Shop, which is a big complex these days, huge place. But I would go there and I'd ask, well, you got this huge building, what are you going to do with it? Because you still only have one floor, which it's a big place, but one floor of stuff, and they had this elevator that went up to nowhere, and I never understood what they were doing. So I'd ask, what's going on? Why do you have an elevator? What's these plans? Why do you have this big tall building? It's 3.5, 4 stories tall. What's going on up there? And they're like, well, that's our passion project. We're working on building a museum up there dedicated to dinosaur exhibits and ancient cultures, which that really kind of perked my attention because, of course, I love ancient cultures. I love studying ancient history. So here you have kindred spirits, people who are passionate about these things. They're making pretty good money at the Dinosaur store as a family, but that's not enough. They have a real passion for this topic, and they wanted to dedicate some space to it. So when we were able to go down in 2026 to go see some stuff at the Kennedy Space Center, we had time to go to the Dinosaur store. So we stopped by to go check it out and see what they had been building up there for a while. And they now call it the Museum of Dinosaurs. It's the Dinosaur store. Museum of Dinosaurs and Ancient Cultures. It's pretty cool. There's their emblem. They got a dinosaur standing on top of the Chichen Itza pyramid. So they're not just interested in paleontology. They're archaeology, anthropology. They want to understand history, period. The role that dinosaurs played in part of that history, but also how human cultures emerged over a long period of time. And I was looking forward to going there. So we went there, and there's quite a nice floor map upstairs. So you take the elevator, you go up, and what I saw was just jaw-dropping great. So what they've done is they broke off. They have the second floor is very tall, goes to the ceiling. Actually, it's very, very clever how they did the museum. But you have enough room in there to have large dinosaurs to scale, and their skeletons. I think people who are with me compared it to the museum exhibit at the Field Museum in Chicago, the Sioux exhibit, or the Smithsonian, and there's a lot of belief that this is better than those. And this is a private enterprise. This isn't this is just some people that made money at the dinosaur store that put on this fantastic museum. And they built environments for the dinosaurs to be in. So everything looks really good to scale. And again, you're looking up and you can see these dinosaurs, sauropods, with their necks and heads way up up near the rafters of the ceiling. And it's just incredible. And then they have a third floor which interacts with the second floor. So you have the dinosaur heads kind of even, but you have an elevated third floor that's like platforms that zigzag through that space. And in it, they have a dedication to ancient cultures. And that's Egypt. And they replicated King Tut's tomb as it was found, which is really cool to look at. And then they have the terracotta soldiers, China, and then they have Aztec and Mayan cultures, dedications to those, Olmecs, Egyptian culture everywhere, and it was extraordinary. I was very impressed with it. They have replicas of the mask, so everything is easy to see and scale. So I don't know that a lot of people know it's there. I think they're happy just to build it because it was, again, a passion project of theirs. They really wanted to dedicate themselves to digging up dinosaur bones, selling to people so they can have a piece of that ancient past, and then using the proceeds to dedicate a very great, what we do understand about ancient cultures, and put a stake in the ground and show all those cultures kind of together in relation to the dinosaurs. I've never seen anything really put together like that, especially at that quality, that level of quality. I had a little fun with some of the clips, the photos I had there to put some visuals to them. But you can get away with that because the still shots of what they have are so good and so meticulously done. I mean, look at how good that is. I mean, it's so nice to see people doing things that are beneficial, and it's really a passion of theirs that they're sharing with the world through the efforts of capitalism. You don't typically see that kind of stuff other places in the world because you don't really have economies that facilitate that kind of eccentricity. And they're at the Space Coast because it has a great economy, because a lot of people go to Ron John Surf Shop, and then of course they want to stop by and get a dinosaur bone. And they've taken that successful enterprise and turned it into something truly magnificent, and something that really kind of puts in perspective ancient cultures together with dinosaurs and kind of a history of life on Earth as we know it through the fossil record. But to say that this dinosaur store museum is great, I think underplays the word great. It is really a magnificent effort, and it's done on a scale and ambition that you just don't see in museum exhibits anywhere in the world. And they all try, but they don't quite get there. And these guys do because they love the topic. So if you ever find yourself, you're down at the Disney complex, you want to go to the Space Coast and stop by the Kennedy Space Center, or go get a Ron John's t-shirt and go see the beach. You stop by the dinosaur store to go get a nice necklace that has a dinosaur tooth on it or something to that effect. Or you want to stop by and get your Spinosaurus tooth to give to somebody for a present. You might want to go upstairs into the museum. It will be a jaw-dropping experience that is worth it. I think it's worth the trip just to go to Florida, just to go to that. But I never just do one thing when we do these things, but I was interested in these guys because I've watched them evolve over a long period of time. I've raised my family on their products, and it's still something that they all hold very close to their hearts because we've had great experiences there. Dinosaur store has always brought happiness. It's always fun to go get a little trinket and think about the history, the past, what lessons we've learned from it, how it might have been, how magnificent these big, large creatures were, and it's always it's a fun exercise to think about. But to see what these guys have done with the space and really built on a second and third story, a high quality exhibit dedicated to ancient cultures is it's worth traveling anywhere in the world to go see by itself. It's that good. So just letting everybody know that I'm very impressed. I love seeing when people go above and beyond and don't just take the money and go buy a condo or a boat or take an expensive vacation. They actually do something that reveals something that they feel very passionate about, in this case, ancient cultures, and replicating them in ways that other museums of the world just have not done. And I've been to the Louvre, I've been to the British Museum, I've seen they have great exhibits, but I can say that here at the Dinosaur Museum, at the Dinosaur Store in Cocoa Beach, Florida, it's the best one I've seen dedicated to ancient cultures that's out there, that's ever been done. And it's very impressive. And I loved it. And I highly recommend going to see it. If you find yourself in that part of the world, go into the Dinosaur Museum and say hi, but make sure you take the elevator up into the museum itself on the second and third story. You won't be disappointed. It's very impressive. Very impressive. Nice to see good things like that happen in the world. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you haven't read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. Anyway, have a good day. See you later.
Thank you for listening.